Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. As you see some of these matches on your screen right now, you see Chris Jericho will take on his former tag team partner and stablemate from the Inner Circle, Santana, as well as the Butcher, Blade, and Angelico team up as the Andrade family office takes on the Blackpool Combat Club of Daniel Bryanson, John Moxley, and William Utah with William Regal nearby, as well as Warlow with his mystery taking on MJF's mystery opponent. We'll get to the latest on who the mystery opponent was. And Jeff Hardy and Bobby Fish compete in the Owen Hart Cup in the main event as Ring of Honor's World Women's Champion Deonna Purrazzo takes on Mercedes Martinez, the interim women's champion, to crown a new undisputed women's champion. A champion versus champion match. Who will be leaving out AEW Dynamite as the women's champion of Ring of Honor? We'll get to the latest, as well as a lot going on. Is Freddie Prinze Jr. making news that he wants to start his own wrestling promotion. Freddie Prinze Jr. be like the third wrestling promotion nationwide. He got the money, he got the recognition, he has the experience with being on the WWE, and who knows, he could get somewhere going with that. And I'll tell you later on coming up as well. Well, we're gonna kick off the AEW Dynamite Ring Report right now. I'm gonna start it right now. Hello, everyone. This is Kendra Diggs here. Glad you can join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show for the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. Thank you all for watching. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling Show on Connect TV on YouTube. Like I said, join the conversation. Hit Pro Wrestling Show. Hit that subscribe button to be notified, and you begin the latest. Well, we're gonna kick things off with a bang as well. Coming up later on Hot Topics, we're going to talk about a lot going on Hot Topics as we talk about this. Stu Grayson no longer with AEW. What's going on with that? We'll talk about that. As is Tessa Blanchard already having a falling out with the ring? Wow, man, Tessa Blanchard can't get herself together on nothing. As well as CM Punk making an appearance on my ass on the Fox FX show. But we'll get to that later on in the show. Everything here on the Pro Wrestling Show is AEW related, and that's coming up. Well, coming up right now, we're going to talk about the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. Here's the AEW Dynamite Ring Report for tonight. Night kicked off with a bang right here. Kicked off with Jeff Hardy taking on Bobby Fish. And Jeff Hardy done the unthinkable and won the match. Jeff Hardy advances on to the Owen Hart Cup. Jeff Hardy defeated Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish didn't have a chance. Adam Cole was at ringside on commentating the match, but it didn't go the way it's planned for the Undisputed Elite. As well, the Hardy Boys came out there and confronted, as you see right here. Could we be seeing this match at Double or Nothing? The Hardy Boys taking on the Elite, the Young Bucks. It could be a possibility, and it could go down Double or Nothing. Speaking of that, the Blackpool Club was in action. As you see right here, they just doing all those crazy moves. Daniel Bryan won for his team, doing a cross and doing the push-up. So Daniel Bryan winning with Will Utah and John Moxley. I think they're gonna start doing those 6-man tag team titles sooner rather than later, if you ask me. All right, speaking of that, Warlow, who's AEW's version of Goldberg. Warlow was coming out, shackles, how Goldberg would be without shackles and handcuffs. But Goldberg and a Goldberg, like, I feel like Warlow is WCW's version of AEW. Warlow made a huge appearance. I mean, Warlow made a huge appearance. He went against MJF, sent his own person that he wanted to go against. He sent Big Cass right here. You call it W. Morrison. W. Morrison making sure that he was trying to get the job done that Warlow told him to do. Warlow, WM Morrissey was instructed by Warlow to get the job done and get the job done by any means necessary. And when I mean any means necessary, he tried to get the job done. But unfortunately, he couldn't get the job done. And Warlow won, beating Big Cass, who he was in WWE. Big Cass didn't really have a chance, if you ask me. Well, MJF, thinking of another master plan, MJF decided that he's going to have a contract signing with Warlow, and I'm assuming they're going to have their match at Double or Nothing. But MJF, typical MJF, saying that he's going to make sure he's going to stack the deck against Warlow if Warlow wants to break out from his contract under MJF. And we'll find out next week when they are in Long Island. MJF and Warlow will meet at Long Island for Dynamite with the contract signing under MJF's terms and conditions. We'll see that coming up next week. MJF, you can tell right, he's looking petrified. He's looking terrified and having the face of fear that Warlow is going to annihilate him somewhere down the road. It could happen, any possibility going down. And you can tell looking at MJF's face, he's going to have more recruitments if he's going to defeat Warlow. Well, speaking of that, the AEW World Champion, Heyman Adam Page, came out there. He was supposed to come out there last week, but Heyman had COVID. Heyman wasn't unable to, but Heyman came out there and sent his challenger, CM Punk, a message that he is ready and he don't care about no Bret Hart tribute. Heyman Page saying that him and CM Punk will fight, and they will fight for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, and they'll be in a couple of weeks from now at Double or Nothing, the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. So we'll see that coming forward. Like I said, that's gonna be a match that I want to see. To CM Punk do it over again and do it over the mountaintop one more time, light it in the bottle to become world champion. He was the longest reigning world champion in the modern era in another company, WWE. But can CM Punk add his name to the list to become the AEW World Champion and be up there with John Moxley and Chris Jericho, being the third man to hold the WWE and AEW World Heavyweight Championships? Can CM Punk do it? We'll see. Coming up at Double or Nothing. Coming up. Well, we know this Chris Jericho, along with his new faction, his new stable, the Jericho Appreciation Society. They call themselves sports entertainers. And Jericho preach and loves being called sports entertainer. Well, Jericho won over his former tag team mate Santana and sent a message to Eddie Kingston them what Jericho done despicable and dastardly, had a fireball and threw in Kingston's face. That's why Kingston wasn't there. Jericho's getting the edge over Santana, Ortiz, and Kingston. Can they find a way to measure up against the Jericho Society? Only time will tell on that. A quick plug: Chris Jericho had Swerve Strickland on his podcast. He dropped this morning, so look for that in the near future if you're a big Chris Jericho fan. Well, we tell you right here, this is the Owen Hart right here tournament bracket right now. This is the bracket right now. Who are advancing? Phoenix defeating Dante Martin. He'll take on Kyle O'Reilly, as well as Samoa Joe will take on a Joker. They always does that mystery stuff with the Joker, like who's going to come out there and do something crazy. Also, too, a dream match, an epic dream match. It's like a fantasy warfare. Jeff Hardy will take on Darby Allin. It's like the masters of the face paint and Cool Kids. They're gonna meet one-on-one whenever it happens. It's gonna happen. That's gonna be the dream match. Adam Cole will take on Dark Hartwell. That's gonna be a good match too. Rough, tough, physical match. Owen Hart Cup, and the finals will be at Double or Nothing with the Owen Hart Foundation, a great foundation started under Dr. Martha Hart and stuff. So look for that coming up. Also, too, the first time confrontation between women's champion Thunder Rosa meeting up with her new number one contender, Serena Deeb. These two women will meet at Double or Nothing for the title. And Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb, you tell me it's going to be a technical classic. See, we're going to see that classic. Can Serena Deeb do the one thing that she never done, become a women's champion? Only time will tell. But Thunder Rosa holding all the cards. And Thunder Rosa on her historic reign, will she continue winning the women's championship, staying women's champion? That's the problem. That's the point. And we'll see Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb. They will meet at Double or Nothing for the women's title. What a classic it's going to be. Speaking of women's championships, we saw this. So Mercedes Martinez take on Deonna Purrazzo in the match for the women's championship of Ring of Honor. Both women were the Ring of Honor women's champion, but they had to unify the belts. There'd be only one undisputed women's champion, and Mercedes Martinez has done it. And Mercedes Martinez has emerged as the new Ring of Honor Women's Champion, and she done so by doing it. And congratulations to Mercedes Martinez for doing it and doing it well. Like I said, Mercedes Martinez making sure that she done what she need to do to get the job done and stuff. Mercedes Martinez doing what she needed to be done to get her. Oh, okay. Well, we glad and we appreciate Mercedes Martinez with her effort to do so. So congratulations to Mercedes Martinez defeating Deonna Purrazzo. Nothing for Deonna Purrazzo to be ashamed about. She was a winner, being on TV, getting that experience. You know, Deonna Purrazzo might come to AEW one day when her contract is up. Don't be shocked. All right, that's going to end the AEW Dynamite ring report. The ring report. We're going to move quickly. We're going to move quickly to Wrestling Hot Topics. On Wrestling Hot Topics, we're going to talk about this. It's an AEW related story. Stu Grayson no longer a part of AEW. They said his profile got removed and he was part of Dark Order, but they just didn't know. They just didn't say what for. And Stu Grayson no longer part of AEW. So we'll get more updates and details on this story, on what's going on in the near coming weeks. Speaking of something, we're hearing reports that Tessa Blanchard may have fallen out with the Women of Wrestling Wild organization. Now we know that Tessa Blanchard is no stranger to controversy, as she was supposed to be with Impact, and she was their world champion. She was supposed to do some vignettes. She refused to do it, and Impact had no choice but to script of the title. And that carried a lot of animosity. So her and Impact are no longer talking. There was reports that AEW and WWE was in talks with her, but the AEW and WWE don't want nothing to do with her. A lot of people cite that she has temper tantrum issues, and she has racist viewpoint. So a lot of people are not trying to get Deonna Purrazzo, not them, but Tessa Blanchard in their company. She has all that she don't need to be. She'll never go far as she thinks she's going far with. Speaking of that, Cody Rhodes, a former AEW alum, Cody Rhodes, who's now part of WWE, talking about his Nightmare Bar. As you see right here, he's pictured with NWA champion Matt Cardona, FTW champion Ricky Starks with AEW, QT Marshall, a lot of his folks from AEW. So I guess Cody has a good relationship. Cody will elaborate this week on the Broken Skull session. So Cody, you know how that goes. So he'll elaborate a little bit more this week on Broken Skull session on Peacock with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Where we know AEW has a video game that's coming out shortly. And a lot of people are talking about AEW's video game development, what they're showing. They're showing Thunder, whatever her name is, Naya, whatever her name, forgot her name. She's on the game. Chris Stanlander is on the game. Let me see if we can get a picture of Chris Stanlander. Nia Jax is on the game. Not Nia Jax, but I have Nyla Rose. I'm sorry if I butchered her name. Nyla Rose is on the game. Chris Stanlander is on the game. So like I said, we seeing it as we going far with it, but this is what they're developing at the moment. So we'll see how this all play out. We heard that there's been a little bit of trouble in paradise with Ken Omega, who's injured, and he's spending most time of his focus on the game shortly. So it looked like an impressive game to me. So we'll see how all develops and all plays out. And then also too, the Forbidden Door coming up. New Japan AEW teaming up to host the Super Show in Chicago for the United Center. So we'll be looking forward to that, seeing that match coming forward as well. And as you can tell too, some of the New Japan stars and the AEW stars already making their way. So we'll get to know names in the coming short weeks on who's going to be a part of this Super Show, the Forbidden Door, between them. So we'll see that. To AEW with the community giving back with some local community as well. Like I said, every time we do the pro wrestling show for a specific show, we want to focus center on that show and the other hot topics like AEW, like we're doing the AEW Ring Report. To what's his name? The Brooklyn Brawler, Colt Cabana of AEW. He portrayed the Brooklyn Brawler. If you watched on Young Rock, he was the Brooklyn Brawler. So Colt Cabana doing his things too. As well as this is big breaking news as well as Freddie Prinze Jr. We know he's no stranger to the wrestling business. He was a former creative member of the WWE. Freddie Prinze Jr., a actor. Many of you may know him from Scooby Doo fame of the live action movie, or She's All That. If you kind of like know something from the late '90s rom com, well, Freddie Prinze Jr. want to put his money where his mouth is, and he wants to start his own wrestling promotion. And I think if Freddie Prinze Jr. does it, he will probably be like the third biggest wrestling promotion. Prince Jr. stated that he's going to start in 18 months. He wants a 2-hour show. He has the money for a 3-year plan. He wants storyline be reality based. Now, when you do that, then I don't know if you want to contact Vince Russo or something, but I don't know. Vince Russo has been a stain in the wrestling business for a lot of other folks. He's saying that men and women, he wants to give them equal time. He wants to own the space filmed in. So he might be having big plans some way, somewhere down the road. He also wants to be a SAG show. So he wants the wrestlers to have unions. And he said too that he has not had yet a TV contract yet. I think he could get one from any of them now. You can get one from streaming, or a lot of these wrestling shows like MLW, NWA, all of them kind of go on YouTube. And I know YouTube doesn't give you enough money, but it's kind of like a start, like you building your own network on your own YouTube channel. So I mean, he has the money, he has the recognition, so I can see it work. It's a possibility. So Freddie Prinze Jr. Getting somewhere, getting a start, as well as this could be soon to be AEW champion CM Punk made appearance on FX hit show Mayans FC. So CM Punk trying to expand. This ain't Punk's only rodeo. CM Punk has been on heels. That's like the Star show that's wrestling related. So CM Punk trying to get himself out there where being recognized and stuff. And finally, Tony Deppen. Many of you might not know who Tony Deppen is. He's a wrestler. He's been seen in AEW. He was a former Ring of Honor champion. So Tony Deppen trying to get himself into the AEW. Well, like I said, with Ring of Honor, I don't know what Tony Khan's gonna do with it. If I was him, just gonna put it as a digital show because he was trying to put it with TBS or TNT Warner Media, or better yet, put it on True TV if they want it. But if they don't, do like NWA, MLW, and a couple of others. Like put it on YouTube and it go from there. You may not make as much money as you think, but you never know. The cost and stuff, the expenses is. But like I said, all right, we're gonna leave you with Deonna Purrazzo and Mercedes Martinez, who just won the had just become the undisputed Ring of Honor Women's Champion, and we'll see that, as well as next week, Darby Allin and Jeff Hardy, the dream match that many people never saw coming, will happen. So, for me being Kendrick Dick saying so long, and thank you for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show, AEW Ring Report. See you later, and we'll see you this weekend for the SmackDown Ring Report. See you then.